Well, we made it to episode 20 now. It's exciting stuff. This is our week 4 recap or review, whatever you want to call it. It'll be up for Wednesday interference. Nice little tag we got there. But yeah, so we want to start off talking about the Saints, since we were just kind of discussing that real quick before we started.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to. I mean, that was the main thing. Is Michael Thomas going to play this week? Is he coming back?
Well, he was I know he was questionable leading up to the game last week, and then so I was excited. I was like, I can put him back in my lineup, hopefully. And then now he was graded out, I think, either Saturday or Sunday morning. I don't know.
Yeah, they're struggling with him. Like, this was come back to what we were talking about last week with Emmanuel Sanders. He clearly isn't the number 2 option they were hoping for.
Yeah, I haven't been watching the games, but is he just like non-existent? Is he too old now? Like, well, I don't know.
You can't go without Michael Thomas. I think Drew Brees really misses his 5-yard inside slant guaranteed like 15 times a game. Like, you can criticize that he doesn't run anything else besides the same route, but Drew Brees, the Mike Thomas 5-yard in slant is lethal. You can't stop it. And I think Kamara's just taking a whole nother step. So, I mean, I still believe in the Saints. Obviously, they were my Super Bowl pick. I just think that the opinion of Drew Brees is a little bit too high. I think now we're seeing that the skill players are more important. I think now in Brees' older age, and now that Michael Thomas and Kamara have matured into like superstar players, I just think that they're able to carry them. And it's good and bad. I think it's good for the Saints to know that your 40-year-old quarterback or whatever Brees isn't the sole lifeline of your offense, and to know that hopefully when Thomas comes back, everything will start clicking again.
Yeah, part of me is I like look at the Saints, and they're very reminiscent of like what the Cowboys are kind of going through, but not on the extreme level. Like, you look at the Saints defense, and they were supposed to be like top 5, and they're just letting people walk over them. Like, their best players aren't performing well.
But the Saints defense doesn't play with like 7 players for majority of the game like the Cowboys do.
Yeah, but like Mario Davis has been kind of quiet. Marshawn Lattimore has been kind of quiet. And you look at the Cowboys, and like, Jalen Smith's been not that good for them, and Lawrence has been horrible so far. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you let Byron. I mean, they weren't going to sign Byron Jones because he wanted so much money, but you could tell that they were going to be abysmal in the secondary this year when they really didn't address it that well. I kind of like the corner Diggs, but he's just been getting burnt.
Well, I feel for the guy because he's going against number 1 wide receivers every game
as a rookie.
Yeah, and quarterbacks and coordinators are targeting him. He's made some plays. Like, I've seen him make good plays, but he's also made a lot of bad plays and been on the end of getting burned a lot. Keep going with the Cowboys, though. Their defense is one of the worst ones I've seen in, like, I can't think of
They're like on a historically bad, like, what was I think it was like 107 points or something. Like,
you knew the secondary was terrible, and like they have been getting torched all year, and then the Browns just go run all over them. Nick Chubb gets hurt, and they don't miss a beat. They just run all over the team. Like, they can't stop the pass, and now they're just getting steamrolled in the run game.
Yeah, it was Kareem Hunt and some running back who just got off the fishing boat, apparently.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt's looking like my fantasy steal of the year. They really, really excited about that.
Yeah, he looks incredible. But yeah, OBJ finally he has 4 touchdowns on the year now, and the Giants as a team have 3 touchdowns on offense. So
yeah, I had to start Baker Mayfield in my league because both my quarterbacks were postponed due to COVID. I had Big Ben and Tannehill. Yeah, it was
did decently with that. Oh, well, actually Jarvis threw one, and then
that was like I was watching. I was listening in the beginning. And I'm like, they're like touchdown Odell, like 30-yard bomb. I was like, fantastic, this is great. And then find out Jarvis Landry threw it, and Baker does nothing after that. But
yeah, I had Odell in one league and then Jarvis in another, and I was like, what are the odds that I have 2 receivers get points for the same touchdown? So
it's true. I didn't think about that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are giving up like – I saw last 3 games they've given up at least 38 points, which is brutal. Like, like Dak can play as well as he's played, and he had his struggles at times, but he's been
looks really good. I think they've been scoring points at will. They've had to, but I think they've been scoring pretty easily.
Yeah, but I don't know why they're not I mean, I feel like this is a McCarthy offense, so they're not going to run the ball, but you got to get Zeke going. Like, he's not looked like himself.
I mean, their defense stinks, so they're constantly need to throw the ball. I think Zeke's made his plays in the passing game too.
That's fine, but I'm saying you got to have that. Most successful teams have at least a decent balance, and they're just.
Well, most successful teams aren't giving up like nearly 50 points a game, whatever the Cowboys are giving up. It's hard to really justify running the ball when you're down by like 21 points by the first half.
Yeah, I forget the numbers, but this is like I forget it was a percent somebody used, but it's like by far the most scoring we've ever seen in the NFL. I think they're averaging like the winning team's averaging like 28 points or something like that, which is far and above what's normal. I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's big numbers. Lack of practice is definitely equate to that. So
very true. I wanted to get to big week. I've got to say it is so sad and disturbing. Like I was thinking, wow, this week just feels different. It just feels better. I've been stuck in a miserable rut for the last 3 weeks of my life. It doesn't matter that it happens on Sunday and I have the rest of the week to get over it. I'm just miserable until I get more miserable when they lose again. But the Philadelphia Eagles finally got their first win. Huge. Listen, they played the backup version of the 49ers, and Nick Mullins is no stud. I'll get to that.
But I don't know what you were gassing him up about something because he has your same last name as you. Clearly, athletes don't run in that last name family. So
yeah, but he's an Ian Mullen. Ian Mullen.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's
fake.
Yeah, they fell off the family tree a long time ago for a reason.
It's like the eBay Mullen.
Sure.
Okay.
But I was actually kind of impressed with Wentz. Wentz gave me new hope. I like that Dougie's, get
impressed. But yeah, he played better.
Better, yeah. I'm not saying I'm, suddenly thrilled, but you got to understand. I was thinking that like his offensive line is depleted. Peter stunk before he got hurt, but now he's hurt. And now you look at the wide receivers, though. I was thinking it's like I remember in the offseason when I was like, we have a track team now. And suddenly we're right back to where we were. 4 weeks into the season, we were right back to where we were when we ended last year.
Yep.
I see Deontay Burnett back out there.
Yeah, somehow they played better.
Out there. Yeah. Whoever Fulgham is, he's out there now. Greg Ward is your number one receiver all over again. Your track team that you brought in is Watkins hurt, Godwin opting out, Jackson getting hurt. At least Hightower's out there. But it's just infuriating when I could think of 4 or 5 wide receivers that I was excited for them to see this year, and none of them are playing.
When I was watching that touchdown, I saw Wentz I think he scrambled a little bit and then just chucked it deep. I was like, oh, here we go. And then the camera started panning. I was like, he overthrew him. He's not going to be able to get to it. And then somehow this guy caught it and then tumbled in the end zone. I was like, what just happened? I was so amazed.
That was probably the best. That's probably the best play I've seen a Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver make in at least since 2017.
Yeah, and then a couple hours earlier, I saw fucking Aguilar score a touchdown in the end zone, making a strong catch, and I was like, "Oh, nice of you to use your hands in Oakland, Vegas." But
we got Fulgham. It's all good. Who? But I did like Doug mentioned making it simpler for Carson Wentz, and I do think that it has to go with the fact that there's 6 offensive coordinators or passing game coordinators or whatever they're called. I hated that they didn't bring in an offensive coordinator. I thought it made no sense because Doug's a Super Bowl winning coach. It's a respected organization. I thought you could get a very smart coach in here. But you think Jim Schwartz was a head coach for a while. Was he a successful head coach? No. But he's a respected defensive mind, good head coach that Doug was able to bring in. I thought he could have done the same thing with the offensive coordinator, and he completely missed it when he decided to bring in Morningweg. Should have never came back to this team. I was never wishing for more Morningweg to ever.
I forgot he was on this team.
Yeah, that's what you mean. What do you expect Carson Wentz to do? 6 guys are telling him 6 different things. I thought the play calling was a lot simpler, more creative. They're putting Hurts out there more, which they need to.
Needs to work on that. Well, that was a bad snap, but
listen,
2 fumbles back to back.
Yeah, but burning a second-round pick on a quarterback when you have all these injuries, hindsight is 20/20, whatever. But still, no one needed a quarterback in the second round. You need to make him, he's got to start playing more. And I like that he's seeing more snaps. He has to justify not taking a position of need.
I really wish they would have been able to pull off that quarterback reverse throw because they were trying to. They had Hurts I think it was what Carson was outside and Hurts took the snap, and then they switched or something. I forget.
Yeah.
Or no, Carson was on the outside left. Wentz or Jalen took it. They both stepped back, and Jalen was supposed to roll out and then throw it back to Wentz, but the D line blew it up.
Yeah, we need something more creative than that from Doug.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
That's like, yeah, come on now. Taysom Hill's been doing that for how long now? I saw stuff that I'm not going to say was blown away, but I saw stuff to be excited for.
A little more creative, yeah.
Doug was better. I like going for it too. Be aggressive. I like that. I like the 4th and 1 play where he was shifting and then ran the quarterback.
Oh, that play was awesome.
That was awesome. I like that. I like that we're getting more creative. You have to.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed is Wentz is moving a lot more. It'll always be terrifying to watch Wentz run. It just will always be terrifying because you never know if he's going to get hurt.
Yes, but watching him throw on the run, he's 10 times better than sitting in the pocket. Like, it's night and day.
I agree, and this is what you need to do. The other thing that is opening my eyes that seeing him move out more is our wide receivers just can't get open because I'm seeing Wentz,
for years
in the pocket, scramble, and he's still holding the ball. There's no one there. He started tucking and running. I like that. He's honestly, with the depleted options you have your skill players, he's going to need to tuck and run a little bit more.
I like that he's running more and he's being more aggressive. Like, he dove for a first down. You see when he was lined up.
That touchdown run was sweet. That was
yeah.
Like a little pump the dude in the secondary and just was right in.
I loved when he was out at receiver when Hurts was in and he was getting a little pushing fight with the corner. I was like, okay, you get a little feisty. I like it.
Listen, if you want to, you understand your wide receivers are terrible. Maybe they haven't run the ball as much as I'd like to see, but Wentz and Hurts are both mobile quarterbacks. We saw the RPO was successful when you had Foles here. Maybe you need to bring it down to simple levels like that for Wentz. And in that case, you might be able to get more creative because you have 2 mobile quarterbacks.
I will say, I know I was harping on running the ball last episode, but I think Sanders had like 14, 15 carries, but San Fran was fucking clogging them. They could not get the run going at all. Like, their linebackers, just like Quan Alexander and Warner, are still strong, so they were having a tough time.
Warner looked very good. He was
all over the field. But see, the thing is, Wentz was still like he's still throwing low. Like, he's throwing at the knees of receivers, and Sanders was wide open running across the middle, and he missed him so bad.
I don't know what it is with Sanders. He just loves to just miss him on brutal opportunities.
Yeah. But I feel like anytime Sanders has the ball in his hand, he gets at least 5 yards with like a couple like blown line plays where he's pushed back, but he fucking gets his yards. Speaking of line, I think actually, the first quarter was a little rough, but Mailata played pretty solid.
He did.
He might be the starter going forward, honestly, with Peters questionable now with his injuries.
If he can keep playing like that, I'll take it because it's not like Peters was playing great anyway.
This patchwork offensive line actually held together pretty well.
Listen, any game that isn't 8 sacks, whatever we gave up in Washington in week 1 is an improvement. They're really struggling, or they're really depleted, but they're making do. I liked what we saw from I thought the defense made some good splash plays. Nick Mullins definitely helped them, but I also thought Brandon Graham played really well.
That interception that kills me.
I
was riding high off that touchdown we scored on offense, and then he turns around and throws it right to the linebacker. I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Beautiful.
But on the defense, so I just looked it up. The Eagles are now sitting at number 1 in the NFL in sacks at 17.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And
who's the leader on our team?
Graham and Sweat have 3 each.
Okay, I was gonna say Sweat. Sweat and Graham are.
Sweat's been looked really nice coming off rotation.
Sweat, Graham, and Slay, I would say the only players on defense that
I really liked though what I was seeing from Barnett when he was doing stand-up rushing.
Yeah,
like he was getting aggressive again. He was playing against Trent Williams and he was getting pressure every play. Like,
I still say I want to see Sweat out there more. I wouldn't mind if going with Sweat and Graham as your starters.
I don't know. I've liked Barnett was out the first game, and so these past he has 2.5 sacks in 3 games. So
the rotation's working pretty well. I mean,
and you were giving me shit about Malik Jackson, but he played pretty well on Sunday too.
Well, yeah,
he was getting pressure.
he's had some rough games too. The interior defense line is a whole different issue. Got our first tackle for Hargrave, so that's good. He officially gets his first tackle as a Philadelphia Eagle, or first stat of anything. Couldn't have even told you if he was playing any point in the season up until last week.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So they're number one in sacks, and then I mean Pittsburgh didn't play, so they're kind of skewing this number. But so the Eagles through 4 games are averaging 4.2 sacks a game, which that's good. And I don't know what the pressures or hurries are, but I know they're up there because that San Fran game, that fourth quarter, they were in Mullen and then the other guy's face. Well, the other guy did pretty well, though. But they were in Mullen's face that whole quarter.
Beathard just did exactly what
I don't know what they – that's typical Eagles, though. Like something like changes in the other team, brings in a new quarterback, and then all of a sudden they're just getting gashed and gashed. I really thought they were going to catch that Hail Mary in the end. And I saw a picture – where there's like 3 San Francisco players and George Kittle is like this. And some guy you just mentioned, Darius Slay, had his hand right in front of Kittle's hands, knocking it away. So
defensively,
they get gashed at times, but they've been pretty good, honestly. Like, I mean, not say pretty good, but they've been solid. The linebackers are horrible. Secondary's been
they're terrible.
Good, with the exception of Slay being phenomenal, and then the D line I think has been great. So
definitely wouldn't say the secondary has been good. Outside of Slay, they've been pretty.
I think McLeod's always been consistent. It's just, although Mills actually played pretty well at corner. To be honest, I saw some of his like targets versus like yards allowed in numbers were really low. So, and Kayvon finally got some time. So yeah, we'll see what's going on.
101 matched up with George Kittle. Welcome to the NFL, right?
I can't. What did Kittle finish with? Like 18 fucking catches for 180 yards? Did they not have anyone else to throw to?
Well, I mean,
it was kind of
CJ Beathard did exactly what you expect them to do. He just came in and just threw it to George Kittle on every play.
It was kind of
Nick Mullins did that. He's still in the game.
It was kind of infuriating watching because they were running. It was like playing someone in Madden. They had one play that's successful, and they ran those same plays. All they were running were like short passes outside and stretching the defense. Like it was the same. It was like Kittle runs, and out, caught it, goes upfield. The running back goes on and out, caught it up the field. Like all they were doing was stretching us. Like it wasn't even anything special.
We have no linebackers.
Well, yeah. It was smart on their part, but I'm just saying, like after a while, you got to figure, okay, they're going to run the same. They're going to George Kittle. Put like 3 people on him.
You don't have the talent to stop George Kittle. I don't know why they didn't just do that all game.
Yeah, I think he finished like 180 yards or something ridiculous. But
that was the thing I was most worried about. I was like,
Ertz
will find any way to get him on any of our linebackers, and we'll be screwed.
So he had like 15 of like under 80 or something, and then Ertz had 4 catches for 9 yards.
Yeah.
He was bottled up all game. They had a linebacker and like a safety shadowing him the entire time. So
I mean, what are you going to do? There's no other weapon around him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the one you take away.
But yeah, I overall it was like up and down for Wentz. I would say he's taking a good step. I think his rating was like an 81. But that one interception, I don't know. I wouldn't really say it was his fault too much. But no fumbles, except for that bad snap by Kelsey.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it's an
something
improvement.
to build off of. I mean, this isn't saving the season or anything, but it's something to build on.
And they're in first place because the Cowboys'
that is unreal.
Basically cardboard cutouts just standing there. So
I don't even know if I'll be like embarrassed, ashamed, or just like happy when we win this division with 6 wins and the tie being the reason that we end up winning.
I think it would be hilarious if we won the division at 6-9-1 and then beat the first team we play in the playoffs.
This tie, because considering how bad this division is, this tie probably will come back to getting us into the playoffs, which will be ridiculous. I still hated it when he did it, but it still might come back to just because everyone else sucks in your division.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that was a good point on the Eagles.
Listen, we got to win. I feel so much better. I tell you, every day has been better.
It was a win for Philly sports across the board. The Sixers signed Doc Rivers. Clentech stepped down as Philly GM.
Oh, I love that. Although, all right, this guy has been a terrible GM. You've done nothing but disappoint. So you let him step down on his own accord and then take a new position in the organization. That is the softest way of firing someone I've ever seen in my entire life. First off, I don't want him in the organization. The guy clearly failed at everything he tried to do, and he's a horrible GM. Why would I want him anywhere near my front office to influence other horrific decisions?
Where did he even come from? Wasn't he with the minor league team or something?
He was with the Angels.
The Giants? Oh, the Angels. That's right.
Yeah, just the class of front office personnel.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I'm glad he's not the GM anymore. I just thought that was the softest not firing I've ever seen.
Speaking of firings and GMs,
save yourself.
Okay.
Let's get to I want to know how my record was, because I feel like you probably beat me again, which I don't like.
Well, we usually don't do the record till later, but let's see. I went. So I'm going to eliminate Titans Steelers because obviously they didn't play.
Fair enough.
So I went 12-2. Texans and 49ers lost, so that was my mess up. And you actually went 11-3, but you had Texans, Niners, and Cardinals. No, wait, hold on. I also had the Cardinals losing. So we both went 11-3.
Oh, so now you make me question all the other weeks. I'm sorry, there's a smudge over that. Got it wrong.
We have the same exact picks? I think we did. Oh, no, you know what it was? Okay, well, I just missed that game entirely, so I lied. You were so I was 12-3. You were 11-4 because I picked the Browns and you picked the Cowboys. But then we both were wrong on Niners, Texans, Cardinals. So I just need to fix that again.
Who did the Cardinals play again?
Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater outperformed Kyler.
Yeah, you know what? Mike Davis, I'm very surprised. Like I just didn't like the offense ran through McCaffrey, and I just thought it was because it was McCaffrey that they were able to do that. But now they've missed. Mike Davis came out of nowhere, and suddenly he's McCaffrey level running back. Like I just thought McCaffrey was doing stuff that only he could do.
I picked him up on my fantasy team, and he's gotten me like 20 points each week. So I hope McCaffrey takes a nice vacation.
Good considering. Let me see. What other game? Oh, you know one thing I did want to get to?
Yes.
Because he looked really good. And it's a shame that –
Are we breaking into Tim Studs and Duds is what we're doing here?
Oh, not yet. I like to tease you a little bit longer.
A little tease?
There was one other game because I don't have any studs or duds on the game, but the Chargers game, man, Justin Herbert is a baller. He had a nice deep ball, took a shot and delivered it beautifully down the field, right on point. Great pocket presence, took some hits and was able to deliver some balls. I thought he looked great. I was very impressed with how he played. He didn't win, but he jumped out to a good lead. And all it makes me think is, as I saw the Flores announce that Fitzpatrick's going to be a starter again, is I don't know what the Dolphins are waiting for. Like, actually matter, and we care about them now, and they might have a chance of winning games because they have Justin Herbert out there. It's exciting. He should be playing Tua. He played for Nick Saban in like a pro-style offense in Alabama since he was a true freshman. This guy's ready to go. The Dolphins, I didn't think look awful against Seahawks. Their defense looks impressive.
The Dolphins haven't looked bad all year. They just can't win games.
Fitzpatrick didn't look good, but I think that's their biggest weakness.
He's got 5 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
Yeah, I just think that, and I've mentioned this before, with no fans, you need to get the rookie quarterback out there. It's an easier moment for them, I think, excel. You're seeing Herbert just do much better than I think anyone could expect him to do.
I mean, I was a big I really liked watching Tua in college, and I thought he was going to be a better pro prospect. And I thought Herbert was going to be more of an average starting quarterback. But so far, he's looked much better than I thought. Yeah.
He hasn't won the games, but, that'll come with the experience. He also won against some pretty good teams, and the Chiefs and the Bucs.
He has a pretty good wide receiver out there getting toe tap sideline catches in Keenan Allen, who you think is not that good, but that's okay.
I never said that. I said I've never given Keenan Allen hate. Hateful, but no, it just made me think as I saw it today. I'm like, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like, don't you want a little excitement? I know you're in this rebuild, but you're year 2. You got some players out there. Like, I think they have some talent. No, offensively, they have a decent running back.
Yeah, but I just saw Jordan Howard's carries, and they're not even giving him the ball. Like, why did you give him like a decent contract if you're not going to give him the ball? You know, I know the other guy's a starter now, but at least split the carries. But
I mean, I think they just want to do a committee approach. I mean, they traded to go get Breda, and Gaskins has looked good. So it was
yeah,
pretty
Breida
solid
gets
running
even
backs.
less carries, I think, than Howard. So I don't know.
All right, well, let me see. Let me give you what you've been wanting for.
Tim's duds and studs.
All right, so where do we start? We start with the bum. We start with the duds or the
Always,
studs?
always start with the duds.
Okay, that'll be fun. All right, so
Any Eagles make this list?
no, not a one. If they win, I'm not going to put them on there. If they lose, I'll put all three out there again.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, granted, was an easy picking. That's why I made him the third one.
Okay.
But you can talk about a rough week, man. Team lost a brutal game. Definitely one they should have won. You're off to an 0-4 start. You not only lose one job, but you're technically fired from two jobs. He gets fired from head coach and general manager.
Yep.
To be fair, giving the general manager was a grave mistake, and I think that's ultimately what got him fired because I don't think he's really that bad of a coach. I think he's a horrible GM.
Agreed.
But you get fired in week 4, and you've won the division. I think he's won like the last 3 of 4 or 5 or whatever.
He's won 4 division titles in 6 years. I saw that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I know they're on 4, but this was definitely, I think, a reaction that was coming due to all these horrific general manager decisions.
I mean, he traded D-Hop away for like a bag of Cheez-Its. So
yeah, but it's not even just that. You look at the train wrecks of it. It was obviously the Hopkins one was bad. Trading away 2 first-round picks to get Laremy Tunsil and sign him to a ridiculously outrageous big contract, and then your offensive line still being a problem. Like, they still can't protect Watson. But they went away and traded 2 first-round picks and gave him the biggest contract to an offensive lineman in history. Like, you can't just tie all those assets up into that and still have a problem in the offensive line.
It would be really interesting if the Texans and the Dolphins finished as the 2 worst teams in the league, and then the Dolphins had back-to-back like first and second round pick. Like,
I mean, that reminds me of, you know what? That was the Billy O'Brien did that one too when the Browns had 2 in the top 5. They had 1 and 4.
Oh yeah.
After Watson got hurt, but that was to get Watson, so you can let it go. But yeah, my third dud.
Third star dud. Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, so he was hired to be the coach, transitioned to being the coach and the GM, started making questionable, rosters changes, traded away good players. Who does that sound like? Oh wait, Chip Kelly.
No,
and
except for the fact
it made me think. I was like, Chip Kelly, I remember was doing all these bonehead trades. He gave away LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso, who did nothing for this Eagles team. He was always hurt. Then he traded away Nick Foles for Sam Bradford. And
horrific. Let Jackson go.
Just cut Deshaun Jackson because he had gang ties. I'm like,
yeah. Remember that when they like spread the rumor that he might have been like murdered someone? So like, oh, all right, well at least we got out of that. No,
I think
not in jail or anything come up from that.
I think the only coach that can really handle being a coach and GM is, I think Belichick has GM powers, if I'm not mistaken.
No, of course.
But
I just
other coaches just.
I mean, well,
too much. It's too much. There's
really
2 separate titles,
I think it's kind of a shame too because I do think O'Brien's a good coach. And
he is a good coach. He
It's-
might get another starting gig, honestly, but they'll tell him no GM role. You're just
I don't think he wants to be a GM anymore.
Why would you?
Like, it's hard to really kill the guy. Like, they made him GM. Like, they didn't go out and go hire someone new. Like, someone had to take over it, and
Yeah.
tough. It reminded me of my boy George O'Leary. He was the UCF coach, built us up to great prestige with Blake Bortles and everything, and then he took over the athletic director role, or as he was being the head coach of the football team. And then the team just started sucking, of course, because he's got to worry about every other sport. Like, why does my football coach have to care about the women's lacrosse team or, the men's cross country team? Like, he should only care about the football team. I think Bill O'Brien got over his head, and I think it started to, obviously you giving away good players is going to hurt your on-field production, but maybe it even started hurting the locker room. I think he lost the locker room through the general manager mistakes.
I think who was it? JJ Watt, I think, was the one who's saying, we need changes, and then an hour later, see ya, Bill O'Brien's gone. So
pretty tough. I mean, to be fair,
Romeo Cornell steps in now, and apparently the players are really happy about that.
He's Mr. Interim head coach. I feel like he's
honestly, yeah.
Him and
Bengals, Browns, like Bears, I think at one point.
He fell in with the Chiefs for
probably.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like he's always that interim guy, just waiting. But yeah, that's our first stud.
Okay,
moving on to another one.
Well, if he was at number 3, this should be interesting.
Well, I didn't want to put him up. I could have put him up higher, but the man got fired from 2 jobs this week. That'd be just, insult to injury.
Oh, so you were being nice to him in case he hears this.
Listen, I'm a good person.
Okay.
So the next guy, I saw a lot of him this week, actually. And not going to lie, I didn't have the bar set high for him anyway. I don't think anyone did. But he really, even though that bar was set really low, still managed to just not meet it at all. Through 2 brutal interceptions. One, he just was a perfect pass to the linebacker, and as he scampered in for a brutal pick 6, which probably cost you the game. You weren't really going against a 1985 Bears defense in the Eagles either, and he struggled mightily. And then the cherry on top was him getting pulled and then seeing them move the ball, and C.J. Beathard immediately having success doing what I think anyone could have told you would have been a good pregame decision, would just throw the ball to George Kittle. And for some reason, Nick Mullins couldn't get that done. And the fact that Beathard was able to come in and just start, get drives going and look good out there. Nick Mullins is my second dud. I said, the bar wasn't very high, but he just clearly was way too short of that bar.
Yeah, I was talking to Nick, who's been on our show a couple of times, and I know he's a loyal listener, so he'll hear this bit. But we were talking about on Thursday or Friday, and he's like, I think Nick Mullins is a good starting quarterback. He's doing well. He's playing and up to that point he was playing well, so I wasn't gonna bash him. But I'm like, yeah, but he's the reason he hasn't been a starter before. He's not that good. And then it just did not look good. I mean, credit the D-line was getting pressure on him all game, but even still, he looked scared the whole time, unless that's just his face. But
I won't kill the guy. He's a backup quarterback for a reason. It's just what really did it for him is seeing Beathard come in there and immediately start having success. The Eagles' defense isn't really that great. We've been beaten up by a couple other offenses that weren't that great.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't score on us, even with a backup quarterback. They have weapons. Samuel played. Kittle obviously played. Ayuk was out there. I do agree that I thought our defense line, DNs in particular, made it very difficult for him. But McKinnon, was out there. He had a decent game, but if Nick Mullins doesn't throw the pick 6 in particular, but just plays a little bit better, doesn't turn the ball over nearly as much, that's an easy Niners win.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. But you got to put him as second dud. You never like to see a backup quarterback as a second dud, but I feel like seeing Beathard succeed after he went in justifies it.
Fair enough.
My next dud.
Number 1 dud.
So this one could definitely be a group effort. I picked him because he is he's the highest paid defensive player on this team. He has done absolutely nothing this year. He's got 8 tackles and 0 sacks through 4 games. His team defense has given up 146 points this season. That's about 37 a game, which is just absurdly bad. So like I said, you could have made this a team effort if you wanted to, but I picked him because he's just, the highest paid, and he particularly has done nothing, especially considering you're seeing Aldon Smith have success, who hasn't played in the league in 4 years beforehand. And why is Aldon Smith having success and you can't do anything?
He's got 5 sacks, I think, leading the league.
Yeah, he's it's just amazing that DeMarcus Lawrence, my number 1 stud, is making the most on that entire defense. But I came 3-4 times more than Aldon Smith probably, and he's just completely outplayed by a guy who hasn't played in years. Very disappointed, but yeah, I'm going to go with DeMarcus Lawrence, especially because these games are shootouts. everyone's passing, and you still can't get a sack. Like, there's a reason Aldon Smith has 5, and you can't get nothing. You're averaging 2 tackles a game, and that's it. That's pretty bad. You gotta. He's one of the defensive guys. Like you obviously said, they let Jones go, but they kept Jalen Smith. They kept DeMarcus Lawrence, and he's just. You got to put it on the stars, and he's done. Him in particular has done nothing, and it's affecting them because quarterbacks are having plenty of time to torch that awful secondary because he can't get a rush on.
Yeah, I think it was either Marcus Spears or some other ESPN analyst who was saying that it looked like Cowboys defensive players were just like giving up. Like they just had no heart, no desire to fight. Which is like that if you're giving up 38 points the last 3 games, each, that's pointing to something beyond just a lack of talent. Even bad defenses don't get punished like that. So
yeah, it's just 37 a game is unexcusable.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's awful.
Historically bad.
Oh yeah, and you know what? You got to put it on the blame on your best players, and he has done absolutely nothing.
And the funny part is their pass defense is like 31st to 32nd in the league, and they got gashed on the run. Cleveland had like 300 rushing yards or something like that, or 250, I forget what it was, but they relentless, which is good. That's what Cleveland should be doing. That's what their strength is. And even Baker actually looks pretty good, making some good throws on the run. He's still a little like jumpy for some reason. I don't know if that's just how he plays, but yeah, I thought they played well, and OBJ finally had a nice game for,
I mean, that's if you're a Browns fan, you like to see that. If you can get him, definitely talent. But all right, we'll start with my studs, get to the good stuff.
Alrighty.
My third stud, huge win for this team. They needed this to honestly save the season. They needed this. Good effort all around, mostly him. I mentioned this in the last episode about him actually in particular. He should become more of a focal point of the offense. I think Stefanski leaving really kind of clouded their offensive game plan. Like he made what Kirk Cousins look good because he knew how to, take the pressure away from him and run his offense through a superstar running back. And Dalvin Cook had a hell of a game, 130, had 2 touchdowns. He added, two receptions, but 27 carries. That's a big number for 4.8 average.
Oh, they're pounding him into the ground. He's had over 100 each game, or almost all 3 games. So.
Well, because you have to. Kirk Cousins. They better realize that Kirk Cousins is not going to lead your offense. This is going to have to go through Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins make his plays when they're available, running all play action and everything. But they needed to win, and he came out, played like a superstar, like he is. And then I don't think the Texans are a great team. I don't think their defense is that great either. And if what you're hearing is true, if what's true is that Bill O'Brien lost the locker room like weeks ago, then I don't know how much fight they had, but impressive win, big win. I didn't think they were, I was a win they needed to save their season. He was pretty much the biggest part of that. So I'm gonna go down Cook my third star.
Fair enough. Before you, it was
get between him and Mixon, 2 superstar big number running backs, but I gave credit. I thought the Texans are a little bit better than Jaguars, so I gave credit to that one.
Okay, fair enough. Who's your number 2 stud?
So number 2 stud, this guy came out of literally nowhere. I didn't hear of him until, last night. He had a big game, 98 yards, 3 tutties.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest part that actually put him at the stud list is, surprisingly, he is tied for the league with 5 receiving touchdowns. Him and Mike Evans are tied for the league lead in receiving touchdowns.
Really?
Shocking,
Mike Evans has 5 touchdowns already?
Okay, so Mike Evans and my dude are tied, and you're surprised by Mike Evans?
Yeah, I feel like I thought he was kind of quiet so far. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know.
I'm just shocked that between Robert Tonyan and Mike Evans, you're surprised that Mike Evans isn't leading.
No, I'm surprised because I thought Mike Evans was having a kind of slow year so far because I don't think he's got that high of receiving yards so far.
We'll see. That's because you're not clued in.
He's been getting the red zone targets. I know that, so it makes sense.
You're not clued in with the league, and on your football knowledge like I am.
Oh, okay. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't watch all 32 teams.
See, like I said, this is my free masterclass I'm giving you. You're welcome. I can't believe through 20 episodes I haven't charged you a single thing. It's a charity work I'm doing now here. I should put it on taxes. But yeah, so like I was saying, Robert Tonyan, big-bodied Green Bay tight end. Aaron Rodgers looked great in that game, but Tonyan, and it was kind of easy pickings, man. That Falcons secondary is pretty rough, and they had some injuries. I feel like their secondary has been hurt every single year since the Super Bowl, and they just abused him. He was just having his way. Made some good plays. 3 touchdowns is the big number. I gave him this stud because he's leading the league in touchdown receptions, and who knows if he's ever going to be leading the league in touchdown receptions in his career again.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a big name guy, but you never know. He's coming out. I thought he had a good breakout party. He was on national TV. He's apparently boys with George Kittle, so we'll see. Robert Tonyan, though, he's my second stud. He's putting his name out there. He could be a real good player.
It's exciting. Yeah, I was playing against Rodgers in my one league, and I had Pat Mahomes going earlier, so I needed Rodgers to basically throw like no touchdowns, and then he threw like 3. So needless to say, I lost. But
yeah, against the Atlanta Falcons defense,
So I mean, I don't know how you feel, but in my opinion, we got what MVP race right now is Russell, Rodgers, and Josh Allen. Is that what we're working with right now?
Russell's still. Yeah, Russell's still a good 2 steps ahead of both of them. But yeah, I could say it's between those 3 for right now.
Yeah.
But I do think Russell's
I think Allen will tap out. Like he'll slow down a bit.
Listen, I'm impressed with the kid.
He's looked great.
Player. Steph Diggs, I've been preaching all offseason, was going to be the best free agent signing by any team, and he's looked great. Leads the league in receiving yards, I believe, still after this week.
Yeah, we say this every week. I said he was a steal in fantasy, and all these ESPN people were saying he's going to be a bust, and then we both agreed that. I think I had him in my top 10 receivers. I think when we did that back in June. But yeah, I'm going to get to that after you're done with your studs, but he's leading the league in receiving yards right now. So
hey, listen, I like the Bills. The Bills are a good team.
Yeah, they're good offense. Good. Honestly, they're like Brown, Stiggs, and what's the white guy's name? I forget.
Beasley,
yeah. That's like a nice little trio that kind of complements each other.
Plus, their defense is good. They shut down Jacobs. He really didn't do anything.
I mean, think about how fast those 3 receivers are too, and Josh Allen's got a cannon. So,
I'm saying, man. Yeah, listen.
All right, what's your number one?
Not very accurate, but they're fast enough they can go get it wherever he's throwing it.
He made a great one-on-one catch in that game with the Raiders.
Yeah. So, my number one guy. This is a guy that actually didn't make my top 10 list when we did his positional ranking in the offseason. Had an amazing game. I honestly got to say, he had the most impressive play that I actually saw of the weekend. He was all over the place. I want to say he finished with 3 touchdowns, if I'm correct. One of them, the most impressive play, the reverse that he took right towards the end of the game, and they needed that touchdown. I thought this was a minus 15-yard loss easily. Like, he was getting the handoff, or like, with a defensive guy in front of him. Like, he was right there waiting for him. He backtracks like 5 more yards and just does what I've seen. I haven't seen in a while. It's been a couple years. But when he's on, that run was prime Odell. And I got to say, his open field just
he's smooth.
Quickness. He's so smooth. That's why I was like, I watched him search, like, I don't see where this – like, there's no way. And it just kept going. No one was getting there. And he's moving, he's shaking, and he's so smooth. He looks like an antelope sprinting through the, Serengeti. Had a beautiful ball from his boy Landry with a hell of a spiral. That thing was tight too. Mm-hmm. He feasted on a very bad. Obviously, we got to them. We beat them enough, so I'll let him go. A very bad Cowboys secondary, but you can't take the credit away from him. I believe it was the 3 touchdowns he finished with.
2 receiving and a rushing.
Yeah, he had 81 yards, but 5 receptions, 81 yards. They were the big plays that he had. It was the big playability.
It's 7 touches for 150 though, because he had like 2 rushes for like 80 yards or something.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's what this usually. When Odell's at his best, is he's just
Just get the ball in his hands.
Exactly. He's a get the ball in his play because you don't have to worry about his attitude. Just give him the ball.
I'll say I know I had him really high. I think I had him at 5 on our receiver list, which I think is still too high for him based on how he played the first 3 games. I'd probably move him borderline top 10 still, but if they can get him the ball like that in space and let him just run like an antelope, like you said, obviously not like me, like a gazelle, but antelopes are pretty quick too.
I specifically didn't mention it, but no, I mean, if I'm the Browns, I'm for Modell, and that's what you were waiting for.
Yeah.
When you traded to go get him, and listen, it's a very big win for them. They can build off the 3-1. I don't know when the last time the Browns were 3-1.
Yeah, I remember, I don't remember what position we were talking about, but we were discussing like the Browns and how, their line looks like it might come together. Chubb and Kareem.
Their line is very good. Their offensive line has been
tandem, and I think it was you that was excited about the coach, and they've been creative on offense, running the ball extremely well. They're averaging like 200 yards a game, which is insane. Or 204.5 rush yards per game. And even better, their turnover differential is +6 or -6, whatever it is. But
when's the last time you could say the Cleveland Browns had a great offseason? They went and got a smart coach, and they turned their offensive line into a bad unit to a juggernaut. Like they Willis looks good. Conklin's been a stud. It's a very good offensive line. They're running all over people, and it looks like Stefanski's offense is hitting on all cylinders. It looks great. Odell's looking like he was years ago when he was at his prime, and listen, he looked like he was having fun too. You can keep him happy. He's pretty good. It's just he goes sour quickly. But yeah, I'll give him my stud. Mostly because I got to say that reverse was so smooth. I just watching the play. I was like, I still can't believe how this happened.
I almost thought about. I have an OBJ Browns jersey, and I almost thought about wearing it for the game. It was funny. I was talking to my one friend he's a Giants fan, and he was a big OBJ fan, and obviously they traded him, so he was super upset. But I was telling him, I was like, never in my life did I think I would jump off my couch and yell, "Go Odell, go," like he did on that reverse. And I was like, I was never so happy to say I'm a fan of Odell right now because he was busting on the Cowboys, and I was very happy.
They needed that too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So those are my studs and duds. Anything else that?
Yeah, I just want to do we're at the quarter. I think we're 4 games in. Just want to look at our offensive leaders so far. So like we were talking about already, Cowboys defense is abysmal. And Dak Prescott's he's played pretty well. But a lot of his yardage is kind of catching up, which, it is what it is. But he's leading the league in passing with 1,600, almost 1,700 yards in 4 games. It seems kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Then Josh Allen, 1,300. Russ, 1,200. Matt Ryan is always top 5 passing, and their team is always bad. And then Rodgers at 5. Rushing, the guy you were just talking about, Dalvin Cook, 424 yards already in 4 games. Aaron Jones, who, you know what, we were kind of gave him like the benefit of the doubt with those 19 touchdowns he had last year, and we were like, yeah, he's a good running back, but he's playing really well this year.
He looked really good for the Packers this year.
Yeah, he's got 374 yards, and then Chubb, who's now going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. He was sitting at 335 yards, so he could have been leading for all we know. And then Derrick Henry is literally that Titans offense, and I think he has like a 3.8 like per carry average just because of how much they're giving him the ball.
Talking about a guy they're going to run into the ground. That's the offense.
I mean, his body can probably handle it. And then Joe Mixon at number 5, who had a phenomenal game. And then receiving, like I said, is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs and DK Metcalf are tied for first, somehow both with 403 yards exactly. Mari Cooper coming in with 401 in third, and then D-Hop, 397. Can you guess who number 5 is in receiving yards? It's kind of surprising. I'll give you a hint. He's plays in the NFC.
I want to say it's probably someone on the Seahawks or the Rams. I'll go with a surprise guess. I'll say Metcalf.
I said Metcalf was tied for first.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I meant Lockett.
Lockett? No.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
387 receiving yards is Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team.
Okay.
I'm not sure where he's getting those yards, but apparently he has them. So
interesting. I just figured like Seattle's offense has been nice. I was like, you know what? They probably do have 2 top 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, and then like I said, so actually Alden Smith he has 4 sacks. But your boy, Zadarius Smith of the Packers, has 5.
Well, he just had 3 last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was making some plays.
And Myles Garrett has 5 sacks too, and he's looked great all year.
Yeah. Honestly,
Houston is still cooking. He's up there too.
Houston, I think he had at least a sack. I want to say he might even have 2.
Well, he's at 3.5, and then Akeem Hicks is 3.5. But then, like I said, Graham and Sweat also have 3. So
yeah. All right. Well, let's see. What are we thinking for our picks?
You want to get into the schedule? Is that what you're talking
about? I meant like picks for next week.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah. Okay. We covered everything else, didn't we?
Should we do power rankings first, or should we do the picks?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You didn't finish. I forgot we talked about it. We didn't finish. All right, go ahead. I'll let you have your spot.
So, moving on to our power rankings. Not as big a shuffle as last week, but week 5 power rankings. We got Saints coming in number 10, and then we have the Patriots at 9. Like we said, like I was telling you earlier, I think their defense is still playing really well, even without Cam. You take away that defensive touchdown that the Chiefs scored, and they only gave 19 points to that offense. It's pretty good. Yeah, Rams at number 8. Granted, they haven't played the best teams, but they look solid all around. Good defense, good offense. Titans at 7, Steelers at 6. They were supposed to play each other, then had COVID issues. So they had basically a bye week. So we just slotted them back 1. And then our top 5 rounds out with the Bills. 4-0, continue to look really good. Ravens, only loss was to the Chiefs. Every other game they've looked good. Number 3, the Seahawks. And then number 2, the Packers. So my reasoning behind that was thinking, honestly, the Packers defense has played better than the Seahawks defense, and Rodgers is working with less. So, and they have a better running back who's healthy right now. So I'd give them a slight edge. And then Chiefs at number 1. Well, you can't go wrong with the Super Bowl champ and Patty Mahomes. Yeah,
they haven't done anything to go backwards. The AFC is really just like now the Bills are in in that conversation. They're just super top heavy. Like you're gonna have I would say the Steelers, Chiefs, Ravens, and then I'll put the Bills in there now. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, man, I roll the dice. You could say anyone's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you trust the Patriots to keep it going with the just Cam Newton on offense? Do you think the Browns are legit? I mean,
the Colts defense is playing crazy right now.
That's true. They're not, they didn't score much this week, but their defense is pretty amazing. Like, it could be any of them. I mean, if Herbert keeps going, if the schedule gets a little easier, picks up some good wins, who knows? The Raiders are still in the conversation. That's the other thing I mentioned with the Dolphins. Like, get Fitzpatrick out there, put 2 out there, because if he catches, if the kid's got something, you could actually
have a shot.
Make a chance at a wild card. Like outside of the top 4 teams, this is wide open.
I agree.
So.
So then we're going to move on to our week 5 picks. As the standings are right now, I'm leading, of course, with 48-15 record overall, which is pretty good. And Tim also a very good record, 42-21. So we're killing it so far, I would say.
By 6 games?
Yeah.
That's upsetting. I need to close this gap. All right, let's start it off.
All right, so start with the 1:00 game, or actually let's start off with the Thursday game. Super Bowl rematch. Big Dick Nick and Tom Brady. So Bucks and
okay, yeah,
Bucks
that took me a second to figure out.
I can tell you were a little confused there.
When you said Super Bowl rematch, I was like, who? Okay, I kind of like that game.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know what?
Are you really thinking about this?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, give me the Buccaneers.
Okay. I was gonna say the Bears did not look good against the Colts.
They did not. One of the guy that was in talks for a dud was Dave Montgomery. I think he had 27 yards, maybe. He only had 10 carries. But after Tyreek Cohen gets hurt, you expect a little bit more. The offense for the Bears didn't do much at all in general, but the guy had an opportunity and just did nothing with it. So.
Well, they got rid of him or they got rid of Jordan Howard because Montgomery's supposed to be the next guy. And
don't look like it.
Yeah.
All right.
So first, we got our 1:00 games on Sunday. So we got Rams and the Washington football team. Why does it? I feel like they've already played, but I guess they played some other bad NFC East team. I'm gonna take the Rams in this one. I don't think it's too much of a thought.
Yeah, I was like, I was considering the upset, but I was like, I think it's a little too far.
This should be a good one. Undefeated Buffalo versus undefeated Tennessee. I'm still riding Buffalo. I think they're still going to keep cooking.
I want to say Buffalo too, but I also don't want to go with what you said.
Well, I'll just pick the team that should win every time, and you can pick the team that's going to lose, and then I'll definitely get ahead of the standings.
I'll spice it up because the Titans well, they've had 2 weeks prepare for this since I guess not 2 weeks, but they
were all off for a week, but
I guess they also haven't been able to practice. It could be fresh. Nah, you know what? Give me the Bills. I'm not gonna take the team. I don't even know. This team's littered with corona. You think they're gonna win a football game? I don't even know who's gonna be out there.
Littered with corona. Oh, this is another interesting game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I almost said Pirates for some reason. I think it was good luck that we picked against them. So honestly, I'm going to take Steelers for this week.
Yeah, I just
plus I still don't have full confidence in them. So
I think the Steelers are a pretty good team. I am scared for Wentz's life. TJ Watt and Bud Dupree are going to be, and Cameron Hayward are going to be a big problem against this backup offensive line.
Yeah.
Praying that Wentz makes it through.
Could be good. Maybe he's like, all right, I'm just going to run a lot and scramble out the pocket and make those crazy throws. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of worried now.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to do a lot of running. So I think we can agree on that. At least
sideways, not vertical running, but.
Yeah, the game's in Pittsburgh, so he doesn't have to do a lot of traveling afterwards. So when he's broken and beat he doesn't have to get on a long flight. So that's at least a positive. But, I'm worried for Wentz's safety this week. We'll see what this offensive line does. But I'm going to take the Steelers.
I will say, so they play Pittsburgh this week, and then the next week they play Baltimore. If they can take one of those games, that's like 1 out of 2. That's good. That's a good sign for me. We'll see. Yeah. Next we have Arizona at the Jets. Is this when the Jets finally get their first win of the season?
I don't think so. You probably would. You've always been a big Jets supporter. But I'm going to take Arizona.
Yeah, no, I'm also going to take Arizona. Plus, they lose back-to-back games? Lions and Panthers.
Probably.
So
yeah,
they need to get back on their
Arizona's a weird team. I don't know what to think about them.
Not consistent.
Like, are they any good? Their defense isn't really good at all.
Their defense is okay. Their wide receivers are good, but then their line's not good, and Kenyon Drake's been pretty quiet. So
yeah, I thought if they had any hope, I didn't think the defense was gonna be that good, but I was like, what, maybe if they just score enough, they can hang in some games, get some wins. But they really, Drake's been a disappointment, and they really don't run the ball well. The offensive line's not very good at all. But I'll take the Cardinals anyway. It's still the Jets.
Vegas Raiders at the Chiefs. Now, this is tough, honestly. I think this could be this would be my upset of the week.
You're gonna pull the trigger?
You know what? I'll pull the trigger. I'm gonna take the Raiders to beat the Chiefs.
Fair enough. I'll let you have your upset, so I'll take the Chiefs.
Okay. I gotta sprinkle in Dakota's upset of the week, so that's where we're going.
Yeah. But catchy. Dakota's upset of the week.
I'm not upset this week though, because I get to watch ESPN and Good Morning Football without seeing Eagles pain. So
it's true. I'm telling you, it's a better week when they win. It's sad and depressing that the Eagles control this much of my emotions, but it's so true. Like I want to say like they don't like they're like the X that you keep telling yourself you don't think about it anymore, but like
NFC East is
combined. I would never stop.
NFC East has a combined 3-12-1 record. That's good stuff.
And who's in sole possession of first place, baby?
Birds.
Let's
All
go.
right. Another abysmal game. Jacksonville at Houston. I think, you know what? I think coming off
Houston
coach
comes out. Yeah,
I think they're going to come out some fire. I'll take the
I have
Texans.
a feeling that when your star players are openly coming out and saying that the locker room was lost, I think it was pretty bad. I don't think that, everyone ripped Bill O'Brien about those horrible trades, but I'm pretty sure that locker room wasn't thrilled about losing DeAndre Hopkins either.
Yeah, that was bad. So you're taking Texans?
Yeah, I think they fight for the new coach.
Okay. And then next we have Cincinnati at Baltimore. Does Joe Burrow make his magic?
Back-to-back wins for Joey B?
No. I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I'd probably have to take the Ravens too. A lot of one-sided, games
here. Yeah, the last 2 weeks were pretty there were a lot more closer games. This one's like all blowouts.
Yeah.
What is this one? We got Carolina at the Falcons. This is an interesting game. Carolina's been very up and down, and the Falcons have been the Falcons. So I don't know. They didn't look that good against the Packers, though, honestly.
The Falcons are getting onto that jet status where I just can't pick them. Because even if they were up by like 3 touchdowns, I still wouldn't feel confident in them winning.
Man.
You know what?
I'm going to go Panthers. I'm going to go Panthers.
I was going to say, even though I just said they're close to jet status, I think they come out and fight a little bit. I think that talent-wise, they are the better team.
Yeah, they do have talent. They just
whether the Falcons even have any fight left in them, that's to be seen. I mean, I don't think the Panthers have a defense that the Atlanta can't score on. If you're going to say who's going to score more points on a bad defense, Teddy Bridgewater or Matt Ryan, I'll go with the Falcons.
All right. Then we have 49ers and the Miami Dolphins.
You know what? Even though I've been begging for Tua, Fitzmagic will probably win another game. Well, is Garoppolo playing?
Not that I know of.
I don't think he's playing either. I'll take the Dolphins. If I was a Miami fan, man, I'd want Tua, and I could see Fitzmagic winning one more game against a team that's got a ton of injuries, and keeping Tua on that bench for no apparent reason.
I'm going to take the Niners to bounce back. They're really hurt, but they have their talent. I think will help them bounce back here. If Beathard plays well, but who knows? So this will be a good game to gauge the Cowboys. So it's the Giants at the Cowboys. Like if the Cowboys blow out the Giants, then they'll look good. But if it's a close game,
no. Even if the Cowboys go out and blow out the Giants, I don't suddenly forget all the other nauseating.
No. But I'm saying that if they win like 35-10, they'll look like, they were just playing good teams and their defense was collapsing against good teams versus, they can't beat anyone. You know what I mean?
I don't know. See, this is the Giants. I do expect them to beat the Giants by 35-10. If they didn't, then I would be disappointed. I'm taking the Cowboys. The Giants are a horrible team. They're not good at all. If the Cowboys blow out the Giants, it will not change my mind at all about them. I will not be. I'm expecting it.
I will also be taking the Cowboys. Colts at the Browns. That's an interesting game.
You already said that you expect the Browns to lose, even though you didn't even know who they were playing.
I know.
I'm going to take the Browns. I think that they got some good mojo going. I think, Odell's really feeling himself now. Kareem Hunt obviously has proved that they're not going to miss Nick Chubb. I mean, they'll miss him, but he's more than capable of handling the running back duties. And, the Colts defense is good, but I still think the Browns are going to be able to score some points, and I don't think Phil Rivers is going to be able to do much against the Browns defense.
I think the Browns have played better against better opponents than the Colts have against bad opponents. So I'm going to take the Browns too.
So you're saying the Browns are a bad opponent?
No. The Colts, they what? They lost to the Jags, and then they beat like who? The Bears. I think they played. Did they play the
Yeah.
Giants? Oh, they beat the Jets, I think. So I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't sound like you know who they played.
I mean, I'm not a Colts fan, but let me see real quick. I don't know. Their defense has played well, but I just feel like
they beat the Vikings, they beat the Jets, and they beat the Bears.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Vikings are a weird team right now, but those other teams you should have handled easily. So yeah, I'm gonna.
To be fair, they played like all right. To be fair, they played 4 bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I still would probably say the Jets are probably the worst, but the Jaguars were probably the worst team of the 4, and that's who they lost to.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll take the Browns. Then we got Denver at New England. Apparently, somehow, if Cam Newton somehow beats the virus by Friday or Saturday, he's allowed to play, which I
fully expect him to play.
Yeah, which I don't know. The NFL is a little wonky with this whole COVID. I mean, they sent a plane filled with COVID players to Kansas City, but yeah, I don't know. I'll take the Pats regardless because Denver's on like their 8th starting quarterback now. So
yeah. Do you think it's a coincidence that the only quarterback in the NFL to have COVID is Cam Newton? I'm just saying when the divisional round playoffs come around and the Patriots are playing like Baltimore and someone shows up with a shady coronavirus pizza at Lamar Jackson's door, Bill Belichick doesn't have to worry about Cam Newton getting no coronavirus. Just wait now. I'm affected by week 6 so that he can now go infect his opposing teams and not risk his players getting it. I just think, the man's playing chess. That's all. His quarterback's going to be clear and free from the coronavirus, and it's only week 4.
Belichick's playing chess and opponents are playing checkers. I guess that's what we're dealing with.
Coronavirus is just another weapon Bill Belichick can use to gain advantage.
Not even. I'm honestly not even surprised.
But yeah, I'll take the Patriots.
Yeah, same. And then the Sunday night game, which is Vikings at Seattle. Because of Seattle's defense, I think this game will be surprisingly close. But I'm still going to take the Seahawks to win. I'm hearing some silence over there. Is there some pondering?
I was thinking, I don't know. I kind of think a high-scoring game is coming from these two. I'll take Russell,
it could still be high-scoring, but I'm just saying it's going to be a close score.
Fair enough. I'll take the Seahawks, though.
Okay. And then our Monday night game is the Chargers at the Saints. Yeah, I still don't know what Michael Thomas is doing, if he's going to play or not.
You know what? I'm betting that Michael Thomas doesn't play. I'm going Justin Herbert. Give me the Chargers.
All right.
Feeling bold. If everyone else picks the Lions for no apparent reason, I feel okay with getting the Chargers.
I'll take the Saints. I think Breeze looked a little better, and Kamara's a monster.
Fair enough.
So, all right. Well, those are our picks for the week. I forget who's on. Oh, so Packers and Lions are on the bye already. Those are week 4 or week 5 starts the byes. So,
okay. Well,
any final thoughts? Or are we just looking forward to Eagles' loss again?
Hey, we're coming off a win. Give us a chance. I just worry for Carson Wentz's safety after.
I love this different Wentz now, where he's not afraid to run, not afraid to die. I mean, he looks kind of like a malfunctioning robot when he runs, but I think it's because his knees.
It's just so weird run. Every time I watch Carson Wentz run, I'm like cheering, but also like crying on the inside.
He's like one of those kids at recess who like doesn't know how to stop, so he just kind of like falls forward. Like that's what I feel like watching Wentz. But
yeah, it's pretty accurate. Yeah. All right, well, I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Fair enough. Yep. So good talks. Looking forward to a couple of blowout games potentially, but a couple of good games this week. So be interesting to see what happens.
Listen, if the Eagles can continue to show me some promise, and this is a game where I can like say if they look good, I could still feel positive even if they don't win.
I agree,
but I have to see them like they're legit going against the best defense in football. So I am worried for Wentz's safety. But if they can put some drives together and look like they're capable of scoring against a very good defense, I will be impressed. That's something I can build off of.
Yeah, I mean, keep the balance and keep Carson's. I mean, I think he had like less than 30 pass attempts, so keep those numbers down. Get Miles the ball. We'll see. We'll see.
The best. Yeah. All right. Well, we got the Dodgers and Padres on here.
All righty.
All right. Good talk. I'll see you.
I'll talk to you.